Right, we've got a very exciting album to talk about here.
Hell yeah. Alpha Wolf have dropped their brand new album, Half Living Things. There it is. Look at that. Beautiful. You see, let's start with the artwork actually, because it looks like a hip hop album. But it's definitely not. I mean, it's got Ice-T on it.
It has got Ice-T on it, that is very true. I think we've talked about a little bit about this year, about bands being better with their visuals, whether it be music videos or artwork, and I think they are a testament to doing both this year, Alpha Wolf. Making that step up, I think, which is really, really important, let alone the album being a fucking banger. We'll go through some of the songs and go through our thoughts a little bit with this, but yeah, absolutely beautiful. So support it, go get it, because it's amazing, and we'll talk through it a little bit.
I mean, yeah, potential album of the year contender, and we'll tell you why now.
I mean, starting right from the beginning, bring back the noise. It was the first song they kind of released as part of this album cycle, and it kicks off the album with that great familiarity and kind of sets the pace for the most part of what is an unrelenting, energetic release from start to finish.
Definitely. I mean, I think it's a great choice as an opener for starters, but also it was a great choice to pick as being, I think it was the first single?
It was the first single, yeah.
Because it's got the brutal heaviness, which is apparent across this album. It's got the pace behind it, but also it's kind of got the tongue-in-cheek bits as well, like the "Where My Dog's At" bit.
Which is kind of referenced a few times throughout the release. There's a lot of dogs kind of thing with that, in particular the visuals and the connotations.
But I think it's a song that really sums up the album. Like I said, it's heavy, it's fast, and it's fun, which I keep saying is what a lot of metalcore bands aren't doing enough of, is just doing things like differently and having fun with their songwriting and everything.
Being innovative,
just
and
to
standing out.
Innovate and stand out, and that's what Alpha Wolf are doing on this album, and I think that's what what makes it brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. For me, just kind of as a whole with it as well, I didn't find a single song that I would drop off.
No, agreed.
I found that something that's actually quite rare, I think, for like a 12-song album. I'm usually much more a fan of like an 8 to 10, probably a little bit smaller, more digestible for that. But I went through this very easily. It flowed fantastically as a collective piece of music, with still each song standing out in its own, a great flow and a great journey throughout, especially with the vinyl. As we've listened to it and displayed there, it's an album of two halves.
For sure. I mean, like the first half, there's nothing wrong with the first half at all. Like, you're already thinking, this is really good. I'm really enjoying this.
Wait.
You flip it over to side B, and then you've got Mangekko, which I think is the pronunciation, I'm not too sure, followed by A Terrible Day for Rain, and then Thane, which is just, as a run of 3 songs, it's just relentless. Like, you think you've got a heavy album on the first side, it's this second half that just really just pummels something into you. I don't know what that something is. I'll leave that to your imagination. Yeah, it's just relentless, and I love it. I love that it just doesn't hold back.
I think looking at the overall arcing of the album as well, the lyricism throughout is very clever. I think it's very well thought out and really kept me engaged while kind of like reading through the booklet whilst listening to it and everything. It just pulled me into the songs even more, I think, just really listening out for it, telling the story throughout it. Some very much more personal content, I think, on this album compared to prior Alpha Wolf. I mean, you look at one of the singles being Whenever You're Ready. In particular, I saw so many people on like Twitter being like, whoever hurt Alpha Wolf, we need to hunt them down, because how dare they?
Like a wolf pack.
Exactly. Everything connected extremely well with incredible musicality. And like you say, when we then get to that second half, where it just ramps up so much more with almost like a slight change in genre in a way.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a metalcore first half and then a deathcore second half, which I'm all here for.
Oh, lovely. And I think like bookending it with ambivalence at the end, it's a beautiful way to close the album. Still heavy, but it kind of reins in on a few moments throughout it. And it shows, like we say, with the diversity of what they're doing here, and that step forward in the progression, because sometimes bands will stay stagnant, they'll do the same thing. Alpha Wolf are one of those bands that are constantly trying to push the genre forwards, push themselves forwards, and put out the best music and release they can, spending time on the songwriting. This has been quite a bit of time in the works to really get to this point, and everything has absolutely fucking paid off. This, like we say, album of the year contender for sure. For me, up until now, it was Casey. I love that album. House Disappear is incredible, but this has blown it out the water for me. This is the front runner. We've got so many other ones looking forward to, I think, this year that stand out for me, like Not Loose. I think we're expecting one from Landmarks, which I know I'm going to thoroughly enjoy, I think, no matter what, in a way. But this is special.
It's really those two bands at the moment. I mean, Not Loose have established themselves now. Alpha Wolf and Landmarks are the two that I'm really keeping an eye on this year, because, like I said, they're two metalcore bands that are innovating. They're doing exciting new stuff, and they're really standing out. People are loving it, and I think they're only going to keep getting more and more popular. I really hope this Alpha Wolf album breaks them out a little bit more and makes them a bit more of a household name.
Yeah, sure. I want to see that. I think what's surprising for me, maybe not surprising going into this, is maybe like for Download Festival how lower down on the bill they are. But I think what they're going to do is they're going to have a big group of people there off the back of this, quite a fair amount. And this could be one of those times where, not in the same akin to where we saw Spirit Box and Electric Callboy and packed tents, but where we're going to see a lot of people in a small space loving this, because this is special, this is different. And I think if you're someone who hasn't listened to them before, is a really, really good entry point into learning who Alpha Wolf are, their sound, how they're distinct and innovative, all kinds of different things on it throughout the record. I mean, like Sucks to Suck, which we heard as a single. You're kind of getting the rapping coming through with it. You're getting some strong new metal vibes. You're hearing bits from all different genres of music collectively being brought together so seamlessly. Incredible work. I kind of can't just pick out in particular songs.
I was about to ask what your favourite song is. I think mine's A Terrible Day for Rain.
I want to bring it aside from the singles. I think Mangekyo. I think as soon as I flipped over the vinyl and that played, I was literally in a holy fuck moment. This is incredible. And it completely got me. The whole album did. And I also think Half Living Things, the title track, was very, very strong out of the non-album singles. To be fair, it was hard to nail down.
I said, I think my favourite is A Terrible Day for Rain, which says a lot about the album as a whole, when the singles are really strong. But I think some of the deeper cuts on here are, in my opinion, are more enjoyable than the singles.
This, for me, is an 11 out of 10 album.
Sheesh.
100% would recommend. Go and listen to it. Honestly, can't stress enough. Every song is an absolute fucking banger. And
it rips.
Yeah, I am even more excited than I initially was to see Alpha Wolf at Download this year. They are quite potentially, actually, to make a bold statement, my most anticipated band.
Over Busted.
Oh, yes, childhood nostalgia. But Busted couldn't produce a record like this.
I mean, you're not wrong.
That would be interesting.
And on that note, if you've listened to the album, let us know your favourite song below. Make sure you go and check out this album if you haven't heard it. And go and buy it as well.
Like, subscribe to the channel. We've got all kinds of great things. Like we mentioned, Download Festival. It's round the corner. We're going to have all kinds of things leading up to that. And other festivals literally right round there.
Just over there.
We've got our monthly podcast. We've got gig vlogs. We've got all kinds of other fun content. Join the Ragamuffin Club in the description below. You can have a chat with us and we can talk through music like this in much more depth. Interact with each other a bit more, because we love to hear all of your guys' opinions. So be a Ragamuffin, join the club, and we shall see you soon.
Bye.